Sandhagen versus Vera. A great fight, a masterclass from Sandhagen. I'm going to break down a few of the things that he did really well and what Vera could have done better. And then I'd rather talk about the abysmal scoring from one of the judges after I've talked about how good Sandhagen was, because I feel like taking away from Sandhagen would be to talk about the scorecard first. So let's break this fight down. So Sandhagen was brilliant. He threw some brilliant leg kicks and was switching stance all the time in the fight, which presented Vera with problems. You know, he was feinting, and then after landing a couple of takedowns, what he did, which I thought was extremely clever, was he was changing levels. All the big wrestlers do this, which is change levels, pretend to go for a takedown, and then throw strikes instead. And often a lot of the wrestlers throw massive overhands. Sandhagen, on the other hand, was throwing uppercuts and straights afterwards. And this presented Vera with a big problem. After being taken down a few times, you could see he was weary of the takedown, because Sandhagen was brilliant when he did take him down. He was landing brilliant elbows in the first round, which were cutting up Vera really badly. And in the second round, again, he got a great takedown, and this time was landing more punches. He nearly got submitted. I'm not sure if he nearly got submitted. I couldn't see from the angle, but Vera went for a submission. But once Sandhagen was out of that, he was landing punches and dominating again. I thought it was clear in this fight that Sandhagen wanted to take advantage of the slow starts that Vera has. And that's what Sandhagen did. He took advantage of that, and I thought what was going through his mind was, let me get as much damage as possible on him in the early rounds whilst he's slow. And then hopefully for the rest of the fight, he will be bruised and battered and not be able to perform as well. Hence why we saw a lot of the leg kicks. Now, Vera, his coach was even telling him, look, are you okay? Are you okay? And it was such a slow start that I understand where the coach was coming from. He looked not focused, completely out of it, and I don't think that that was the fault of Vera. Now, I've heard GSP talk about this a lot, and it's overloading the other fighter's mind. And he talked about how when you throw these feints, you do these level changes, you know, you throw these flying knees, which again, Sandhagen did in the first and second round really well. He threw one in each, I think, through these flying knees, which caught Vera by surprise. You know, that was all part of Sandhagen's plan to overload Vera with information. And I'm not quoting, I'm paraphrasing here. GSP talks about this, is it really tires you out when another fighter is doing all these different things, you know, level changing, feinting, changing stances, throwing these crazy flying knees, then going for takedowns. It overloads your mind and it can tire you out. And I think that's exactly what Sandhagen did, is he tired Vera out, not through body strikes, but through feints, and tired out his mind more than his body. I mean, it was understandable why Vera's coaches were asking him if he was okay. You know, in the first 2 rounds, Sandhagen had landed 102 strikes to Vera's 19. And that is too slow. There's a difference between a slow starter and a super slow starter. And this, for me, was what happened. He started way too slow. Sandhagen took advantage of this, then overloaded his brain with information, takedowns, knees, elbows, level change stance, and Vera by the end of it was knackered. But Sandhagen put on a brilliant performance. I believe he's going to be fighting Merab after this. I'm not sure, I didn't hear the interviews afterwards. I was knackered because I'm in the UK. These fights are quite late. It was around 3 AM, so I watched the fight, saw the decision, went to bed. But I've been hearing that Sandhagen's going to be fighting Merab, which will be interesting because obviously Merab won't want to fight for the title against Sterling. This fight's going to be interesting. How is he going to deal with someone who attempts fucking so many takedowns in a fight? And Merab has weaponized stamina. He has weaponized stamina. That is his weapon. You can say he's a master of failure. I mean, in the Peter Yan fight, he threw about 30 takedowns or more. I can't remember the stat off the top of my head. Missed a lot of them, but landed. And it's one of those things where Merab is a guy who believes that I'll miss maybe 60%, 70% of the time, but the ones I land, the takedowns I land will be worth it. So that fight's going to be interesting if Sandhagen can deal with the constant takedowns and the weaponized stamina of Merab. I'm going to do a whole video on Merab actually later on in the week. But brilliant from Sandhagen. Now, the scoring. Jesus Christ, let's get on to this. I'm going to put the scorecard on your screen, and then I am going to get the UFC stats for strikes here. Now, we're going to be focusing on this one right here, from Joel Ojeda on the right, that scorecard. So, we have Cory Sandhagen 10-9, 10-9 at the start. Valid. Could have even scored one of those at 10-8, to be honest, with the amount of strikes that Cory was landing to Marlon Vera's strikes. If we look here and we look at it, Marlon Vera only landed a total amount of strikes of 12 in the first round to 47 of Cory Sandhagen. If you were going to score one of these two rounds at 10-8, I would have given the second round 55 strikes to 9. That could be scored as a 10-8, but 10-9, 10-9 is fair. Then we get on to this part here, which baffles me, to be honest, baffles me. I hope I'm in the middle of my screen. Let me just turn myself around because I'm looking at my computer whilst we do this. Round 3, he's given Vera a 10-9. Right. Round 3, 20 strikes to 32 strikes. Close-ish. Let's look at significance. 20 for Vera, 32 to Cory Sandhagen. So, this is questionable, this round 3, but it's not terrible. So it's 10 strikes between them. That for me isn't unacceptable. This is still a bad call in my opinion. But round 4, Jesus Christ, man. Total strikes 13 from Vera. Sandhagen 24. And significant strikes 24. So you're telling me that Sandhagen landed 100%. 100% of the strikes that landed, were significant. Vera, 13 strikes to the 24, and he's given him a 10-8 again, 10-9, again. And then on the last round, let's have a look at this. Total here, 29 strikes to 19, and he's given it again to Marlon Vera. And he's landed a takedown. And a minute 37 control time. What more does Cory Sandhagen in this round 5 have to do to win the round, according to this judge? This is the upsetting thing. I wanted to mention this after the fight, because after talking to you guys about the fight, because I don't want to take anything away from Cory Sandhagen. But this guy, Joel Ojeda, I don't know if he has to be he needs to be fired. I was going to be nice. This is ridiculous. How can you score a fight so badly? If you look at every single other scorecard from these two judges, and thank God we had 2 other good judges there, because we could have seen the robbery of the century here. Here he's given every round to Cory. This Chris Lee is given every round bar round 3 to Cory Sandhagen, which was the close round, which I said, you know, if he scored that to Vera, it wouldn't have been terrible, but still a bad call. But at least Chris Lee's gone, do you know what? Sandhagen's won the last 2 rounds. This guy, Jesus Christ, 3 rounds to Joel Ojeda's given Vera. He thinks Vera won this fight 48-47. I mean, when I heard the scorecards and I heard the first scorecard get called out, which was Joel Ojeda, I was like, no way are we seeing a robbery here. That would have topped me off after the Paddy Pimblett win that was ridiculous against Jared Gordon. And I think this needs to be sorted, is because these type of people, Joel Ojeda, these people that score these fights, they could ruin fights, man. They can ruin fights. They score, you get 2 of these idiots in there, there's bound to be another terrible person at scoring fights. If you get Joel paired alongside some idiot, if we had Joel with some other idiot in here scoring the card, we could have seen Vera win this. Vera would have won this fight A fight in which Cory Sandhagen landed 187 strikes to Marlon Vera's 73. He landed 128 significant strikes to 58. He had 7 minutes control time to Vera's 9 seconds. Please sort out this stupid scoring. And we see it again, the Jared Gordon fight against Paddy Pimblett. Jesus Christ. I watched it back and everyone said Jared Gordon won 2 rounds. I could have given Jared Gordon all 3 against Paddy Pimblett. And Joel Ojeda, don't think he did that fight, but still, the fact that there are other guys in here in this organization that score these fights so badly. If you pair one of them with Joel Ojeda, you don't know who the fuck is gonna win. You could land no strikes and win a fight, and get no takedowns. It's ridiculous. And that was the thing that was annoying to see, is the judging, which has been synonymously bad recently with the Paddy Pimblett fight and others. I think there needs to be a clean out of these judges. Get a fresh batch in. I'm not sure how it works, but Chris Lee and Sal D'Amato did their jobs well. Sal did his job well. Chris still gave that round 3 to Vera, but did his job relatively well, and it was nice to see those 2 judges watching the fight and not talking to the person next to them like Joel probably was, because I don't know how he has scored that fight like that. He must have been watching something else. But yeah, brilliant fights. Enjoyed it very much. Leave a like and a comment, and thank you guys for watching.